Greetings from Chicago at the 2016 Clio Cloud Conference. I'm Joe Patrice.
And I'm Rian Gauvreau.
And this is On the Road with the Legal Talk Network. Well, welcome everybody. We're here at the Clio Cloud Conference, which is in the Blue Aqua Hotel here in Chicago. If anyone's familiar with Chicago, it is a very, very cool venue. I got here myself this morning. It is a cool venue that very appropriately befits the conference that's inside it. And I actually have with me here today, I'm going to talk, actually, you should introduce yourself. I shouldn't just keep talking for you.
Sure. I'm Rian Gauvreau. I'm the COO and co-founder of Clio. Started the company about 8.5 years ago with my best friend and co-founder Jack Newton. And we're here celebrating our 4th Clio Cloud Conference, and super excited.
This morning, when I came in from a early morning flight, I ran in, and thankfully you were broadcasting the keynote even to those of us out here waiting to get our badges. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things that Clio's doing? It sounded like there were a lot of good announcements in that keynote.
Yeah, so some of the big announcements that we put forward today are that we've been working on something called the Legal Trends Report, and it's kind of an innovation in the legal industry, in that we've kind of realized that Clio as an entity is sitting on a large amount of legal insight and information that really, if we make it available to the legal industry, could help people make educated and informed decisions around how to structure their law practice, how to, what kinds of rates they might want to charge their clients. And so really excited to unveil that and to talk with all of the lawyers here in attendance about the great insights that we've been able to kind of garner from the trove of information that Clio is sitting on. The other things we've been working on over the course of this year is because Clio is such a mature product, we've really been working on refinement. So we're not so focused on delivering new features so much as we are kind of refining the features that we've got and trying to deliver much more intuitive and performant experience for our customers. And so we talked a lot about some of the changes that we've got in the pipeline to try and deliver that effortless customer experience and to make the Clio that people are using today even better and faster and easier to work with. And we're also excited to announce that we've got a completely new mobile interface that launched today for both our iOS and our Android customers. So any Clio users that are on mobile can log into the App Store, Google Play or the Apple App Store, and download the updated Clio app, which has a completely reimagined interface that's a lot more intuitive and a lot more easy to use. And
I think, as a disclosure, if your Galaxy blows up after you do it, it is not Clio's fault that happens.
Yeah, no, we don't have any fire-inducing features in our app, so thankfully.
So the Legal Trends Report I actually thought was the most interesting thing when I was listening to the keynote, because you do have a large client base, and therefore you can get a lot of information about folks. One thing about it that makes it both more representative and underrepresented, but in a good way, is of course it's data that you get from people who already are opting into the idea of the future, which actually makes it not necessarily a perfect picture of all the legal profession, but that actually makes it better because it's a picture of the legal profession as it's emerging and to be.
Right.
Yeah, so when did you, what was the thought process? Obviously you said you had a bunch of information, but when did it really strike you that, wait a minute, we're sitting on a gold mine here?
Yeah, and we don't really view it as a gold mine so much as it's an opportunity.
Not so much money, a treasure trove of information.
It is. It's an opportunity for us to kind of, I think, provide the legal industry with a set of insights that has never really been previously available, and we kind of feel like it's our responsibility to do that because, as Jack said in his keynote today, the most recent information about kind of, what are lawyers billing, where, what billing practices are they using, all of these kinds of things that a lot of lawyers don't know coming out of law school. The most recent available information was published by LexisNexis in 2005, I think it was. And so, we kind of feel like, Clio's has got an opportunity to educate the industry about, where all of the things that lawyers might want to know about, how to build a law practice, how to price their services, how to, what kind of pricing strategy they should be using, what practice areas make the most amount of money, what their recovery rates are on their billable work, all of those kinds of things that has never really been available before. And so we think it's hopefully going to be something that's going to be valuable and educational to everybody in the legal industry.
And as in my personal side work beyond just hosting these shows, working at Above the Law, where we talk a lot about the law school decision and not to go into it rashly. As actually Jack was talking about this report, all I could think was this has some valuable information to inform that decision too. The way in which, a lot of lawyers, you're going to come out and you're not going to be making millions of dollars the first year that you're out. You need to understand most of you are going to be making way less, and maybe way less than you can really make to afford the debt that you might take on.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of where we got the kind of idea or the genesis of this legal trends report was that in our support department, people frequently, our customers who trust us, the partner that they rely on, they phone us and they ask us questions like I'm a family attorney in Iowa. What do other family attorneys in Iowa charge for their hourly rate? And we didn't have really an educated answer to that. And so one of the things we wanted to be able to do is do a better job of helping to inform our customer base about the types of decisions that they should be making around their legal services.
To give full insight, everyone came around and just started taking pictures of us. Apparently your celebrity has drawn some paparazzi. Yeah. So I want to talk a little bit now about you and just how you came to this place. I mean, obviously you start a company with your friend, but how did you get into like the legal tech world? There's a lot of different ways into that world. Where do you come in? Yeah,
so I kind of have a roundabout way of finding my way into the legal tech scene. So my father actually has been, for the entirety of his career, a general manager for large law firms. And so I was kind of part of I guess my family, had some aspect of legal in it all growing up, and so I was kind of exposed to it that way. But I went to university and really didn't kind of know what I was doing. Ended up getting a degree in kinesiology, graduated with some tech aptitude, and it was right around the time that there was the year 2000. Everybody was talking about the year 2000 and upgrading all the systems, and so there's a lot of opportunity in getting into technology. So I actually I joined an archaeology firm as their kind of technology manager, and so I came in and I helped them introduce a whole bunch of their kind of office technology, which gave me the kind of foundation that I needed to transition over to being kind of a technology manager at a large law firm in Canada. And so I worked at that large law firm for about 8 years, and through that exposure kind of got a fairly broad awareness of all of the tech and tools and things that lawyers use on a regular basis, and that's what helped me kind of come to the realization that all of the technology that I was being paid to support and implement in a large law firm environment really wasn't available to small firm lawyers. And this was affirmed by a friend that Jack and I made at the Law Society of British Columbia, who is in their practice standards department, who was just over a beer one day was mentioning that in his job he has to go out and discipline a lot of lawyers that don't have the kind of supporting technologies that they need in order to not run afoul of their kind of professional obligations. And so that was kind of like the light bulb moment for Jack and I, that here's an opportunity. I had the kind of like deep industry experience in legal. I knew what we needed to build. Jack was a computer scientist, and so he came at it from the software side. And between he and I, we basically melded minds, and I learned everything I needed to do on the software development front. And Jack and I, over the course of the latter part of 2007 and 2008, built the very first version of Clio, and the rest is kind of history. And so we find ourselves here now, so 8.5 years later, and a company of now 200 people into our fourth year at the Clio Cloud Conference. And we're excited to be back and thrilled to see just how popular Clio has become, and how many people have gone out of their way and made time to come and be here for the conference, and to take in all the great programming, to interact with the Clio team. We're really privileged to be here and be putting this on.
And this conference is, if I didn't know it to be true, I wouldn't guess that this is a 4-year-old conference. It seems as though it's a well-oiled machine that knows exactly what it's doing. It's hip. It's fun. You've got a band playing during lunch. Like it's. I go to a lot of conferences. This is a very different vibe, and I could tell it from the first few minutes I walked in.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's a kind compliment, and we really did want it to be a different kind of conference, and I'm glad that everybody is perceiving that. I think great credit goes to our special events coordinator, Lauren Sanders. She's the one who really is the person who makes sure that this conference goes off without a hitch, and she's done an exceptional job every year that we put the conference on, and this year is no different. It's been exceptional. We've got a great lineup of speakers. We've got more attendees than we've ever had before. We're back at the beautiful Radisson Blue Aqua, and I'm hopeful that everybody walks away from this conference feeling like it's the best legal conference experience that they've ever had.
All right, so now let's have this discussion because we would be remiss not to. So, BC Lions, what's going on in the Canadian Football League? I've not been paying attention.
Oh, you're asking the wrong guy. I don't follow CFL at all, unfortunately.
See, that's the sport that I always feel like I should follow because sometime in the summer I get tired of the fact that there is no American football, and I'm always like, what's going on in Canada? And I never ever can find it on TV, and I have no idea.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find it on Canadian television, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of vaguely remember that when I was younger, there were two teams named the Rough Riders, but I don't think that's true anymore. I think there's only one
So
now.
There's the Saskatchewan Rough Riders,
right.
I think. And, that's Saskatchewan's, I think, only professional sports team.
Like, I'm from Portland, Oregon. I guess we now have the Timbers, if you count soccer, I guess. But I was going to say I grew up with only one professional sports team, so I feel their pain.
The big team in Vancouver is definitely the Vancouver Canucks.
Which was what I was going to transition to next. Obviously, I live in New York City, so I'm a Rangers fan. So we traded coaches at one point. I think it worked out better for us on the back end of that.
Yeah.
So what's their prospects this year?
Honestly, I haven't been following it closely enough. Unfortunately, both Jack and I are the saddest sports fans. We're bandwagon riders. When the team is doing well, we'll go to the games and have a good time. But the person you really need to grill about that is our VP of business development, George Saharis. He's our resident Canucks fan in the exec team.
I went to an event a couple years ago in Canada before, like a month and a half before hockey season began, and Sports Center, spelled with an R-E, was literally nothing but off-season hockey news. And I'm like, it's not even on yet. How did you fill an hour with rumors?
That's basically Canada for you. Yeah.
It was like, and at the time, I think the Blue Jays were doing well, and I was like, there's actually a Canadian team doing well in a sport that's being played.
Yeah, and everybody's still fixated on hockey.
Obviously, you probably aren't going to tip your hands too much, but what's the plans you got any plans, some cool new event that you're going to add to next year's conference?
Jack is going to be making an announcement about next year's conference, and I think it's hopefully be to everyone's excitement. It's going to be a change in
shake the legal world to its foundation.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So stay tuned for Jack's keynote at the end of conference, and we're going to be announcing what next year's session is going to look like. But it's going to be bigger and better than ever.
Look forward to the announcement that we're all going to be flown for free to Paris for next year's conference.
For sure.
Or whatever. It is. Yeah. So thanks so much. Well, is there a way that people can get a hold of you if they have?
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody is welcome to reach me on social media. I'm at Rian Gauvreau on Twitter, which is RIAN GAUVREAU. You can also email me at Rian, which is RIAN @Clio.com.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. And if you go there, I think you might be able to see some odd picture of him stepping on someone. I don't know what that was all about, but it's certainly up there. Weird and wild things happening here at the Clio Cloud Conference. If you've enjoyed listening to this episode of On the Road with the Legal Talk Network, you should listen to more of them because they're all available online or through any of your various podcasting subscription services like, ye old iTunes. If you don't, you can also download the Legal Talk Network app to listen to all of these things too. And it has not only this show, but all the other shows, including Thinking Like a Lawyer, which you really should listen to. And if you wanted to follow my stuff, I'm at Above the Law, and I have a Twitter handle, which is at Joe Patrice. And I think I've now covered every possible avenue for you to follow what's going on here. Oh, but you should also leave reviews, because reviews are nice, and that helps. So that's it. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later from On the Road with the Legal Talk Network.
Well, it's never been available before, and we kind of like aggregated
you'd like more information about what you've heard today, please visit LegalTalkNetwork.com. Subscribe via iTunes and RSS. Find us on Twitter and Facebook, or download our free Legal Talk Network app in Google Play and iTunes. The views expressed by the participants of this program are their own and do not represent the views of, nor are they endorsed by, Legal Talk Network, its officers, directors, employees, agents, representatives, shareholders, and subsidiaries. None of the content should be considered legal advice. As always, consult a lawyer.